Have you ever imagined what life would be like if you were born without arms or legs? Most of us can't even picture it. We complain when life gets hard, when we fail an exam, lose a job, or face rejection. But today, I want to share the story of a man who was born with almost nothing physically, yet ended up giving hope to millions around the world. This is the extraordinary story of Nick Vujicic. Nick was born on December 4, 1982, in Melbourne, Australia. The moment he entered the world, the delivery room fell silent. His parents were expecting a healthy baby, but instead, they were told their son had been born with an extremely rare condition called tetraamelia syndrome. He had no arms and no legs. Imagine being his parents. His father, a pastor, couldn't even bring himself to look at his newborn son. His mother was heartbroken. Questions filled their minds. Why had this happened? How would their son ever survive? Would he ever walk, write, or even hug someone? No parent is prepared for news like that. As Nick grew older, life became even more painful. School wasn't a place of friendship. It became a place of loneliness. Kids stared at him. Some laughed. Others bullied him because he looked different. Every day, he was reminded that he wasn't like everyone else. Eventually, the emotional pain became unbearable. At only 10 years old, Nick fell into deep depression. He believed he would never have a normal life. He thought no one would ever love him. In one heartbreaking moment, he even tried to end his own life. Thankfully, he survived. Years later, Nick admitted that what stopped him was the thought of his parents. He couldn't bear the idea of putting them through that kind of pain. That moment became a turning point. Slowly, Nick began asking himself a different question. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" he started asking, "What if my life has a purpose?" That simple change transformed everything. Nick realized he could either spend his life feeling sorry for himself or spend it inspiring others. He chose the second path. He refused to let his disability define him. He learned how to write using the two tiny toes on his left foot. He learned to type on a computer. He learned to brush his teeth, shave, eat, swim, and even surf. Think about that. A man without arms or legs learned to surf. Every achievement sent a powerful message. Your limitations don't always come from your body. Sometimes they come from your mind. As his confidence grew, Nick started speaking at small churches and schools. At first, only a few people listened. But something incredible happened. His honesty, humor, and hope touched people deeply. He wasn't pretending life was easy. He openly shared his struggles, his fears, and his darkest moments. People connected with him because he was real. Word spread quickly. Soon, invitations came from around the world. Nick eventually founded the organization, Life Without Limbs, dedicated to spreading hope, faith, and encouragement. He traveled across continents, speaking to students, business leaders, prisoners, and people battling depression. His message was simple but unforgettable. If a man born without arms and legs could find joy, then maybe others could find hope too. Over the years, Nick has spoken to millions of people in more than 70 countries. He has stood before massive stadiums packed with thousands of listeners. Many arrived feeling hopeless. Many left believing in themselves again. But perhaps the most beautiful chapter of his story wasn't about fame. It was about love. For years, Nick wondered if anyone would ever accept him. Then he met Kanae Miyahara. She didn't see his disability. She saw his heart. The two fell in love, got married, and built a beautiful family together. Today, Nick is a proud husband and father. The little boy who once believed he would never be loved now has a family that loves him unconditionally. Life has a remarkable way of surprising us. Nick has also written best-selling books, appeared on television, and become one of the world's most recognized motivational speakers. Yet despite all of his success, he continues to remind people that happiness doesn't come from having a perfect body, a perfect career, or a perfect life. It comes from choosing hope, even when life feels unfair. That's what makes his story so powerful. Nick didn't wake up one day and suddenly become fearless. He cried. He struggled. He questioned everything. But he kept moving forward. One small step at a time. Or, in Nick's case, one small choice at a time. Whenever I think about his journey, I'm reminded that every single one of us is fighting battles no one else can see. Some battles are physical, others are emotional, some are financial, others are invisible, but none of them have to define who we become. Nick's life proves that our greatest weakness can become our greatest strength. The very thing that made him different became the reason millions listened to him. If he had been born like everyone else, maybe the world would never have heard his message. Sometimes our biggest struggle becomes our greatest purpose. So if you're watching this today and you're feeling like life has been unfair, if you've been rejected, if you've failed, if you've lost hope, remember Nick Vujicic. Remember the little boy who once believed life wasn't worth living. Remember the man who chose hope over despair. And remember that your story isn't over yet. No matter how impossible your situation looks today, tomorrow can still surprise you. Your scars don't define your future. Your failures don't define your value. And your circumstances don't determine your destiny. Nick Vujicic didn't change the world because he had arms or legs. He changed the world because he refused to give up. Maybe that's the lesson all of us need to hear. No matter what life takes away from you, never let it take away your hope.